Yeah. Well, I don't really agree with that statement, though I can understand where it's coming from. I would say the way in which that might make some sense is that Bach was basically a liturgical composer. He wrote music for church, and even when he wrote sort of music for concerts, like his Mass in B minor, it's still ostensibly music for church, even though it would normally be performed in a concert. Um, and everything he wrote has a spiritual ethos to it.
Hmm.
So, as such, he was not really a man of his time, because in his time, first half of the 18th century, the zeitgeist was not very focused on liturgical art or on church stuff. And the other famous Baroque composers were really secular. Handel, Vivaldi, these are the people who like rivaled Bach in fame. I mean, I'm sure
They wrote
Handel and
chamber music.
yeah, I'm sure Handel and Vivaldi occasionally wrote something for church, but basically you think of
Well, you got the
Handel and
Messiah in
Vivaldi.
there. You gotta definitely
Well,
include the
and
Messiah.
even the Messiah, it's like even though the Messiah is a biblical text, it's not liturgical music. It's not for performing during a church service, and its overall style feels really operatic.
Fair
It
enough.
does not have the ethos of liturgical music the way Bach does. Because by ethos of liturgical music, I mean like liturgical music needs to have a certain sort of steadiness to it, that it's not going to like suddenly distract you with an explosion of dramatic noise. It's not going to bewilder you with like long, super quiet parts you can barely hear. And it's not going to be really show offy, with some virtuoso soloist out there making a spectacle of himself.
The Messiah is that.
Yeah, because it's operatic in style. Opera does all of those things because it's meant to entertain and amaze.
Man, every time I listen to the Messiah, I think this might be the greatest piece of Western music ever written.
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah,
really is fantastic. Even though everyone agrees Bach is the greatest composer of all time, the Messiah might be the greatest piece. I don't know. Those are pretty bold statements, but
sure.
you know,
Yeah, but in any event, the point is, famous composers of Bach's era were famous because they wrote opera and because they wrote chamber music. And the more dramatically entertaining their music was, the more it was valued, because that was the zeitgeist at the time. It was a theatrical secular age, the early 18th century. So in many ways, Bach was simply not a man of his time.